In the history of soul music, certain voices don't just sing songs, they define eras. For decades, the Temptations stood as one of the greatest vocal groups in American music history. But by the late 70s and early 80s, the group faced a difficult challenge. How do you preserve a legendary legacy while moving into a new generation? The answer came in form of a singer with extraordinary range, unmatched passion, and a stage presence that could electrify any room. This is the story of the man who helped revive the Temptations and gave the group a powerful new voice, and also becoming one of the most beloved members in its long history. The centerpiece of today's video is all about Ali-Ollie Woodson. Now before we start, let's be sure to leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and push that notification bell to be sure you won't miss out on any more uploads. Now without further ado, let's cue that intro. Before the fame, before the gold records, before the world knew his name, Ali-Ollie Woodson was a young boy growing up in Detroit, Michigan. Born Ali Craigett on September 12, 1951 in Detroit, Michigan, he was raised in Town Creek, Alabama. Like many future soul legends, Woodson found his first musical inspiration in church. Gospel music taught him discipline, emotion, and the art of connecting with listeners on a deeper level. When Woodson was about 4 years old, he joined the church choir, where he sang wonderful harmony songs. Even as a young child, there was something unusual about his voice. It was powerful, flexible, and emotionally rich. Friends and family recognized the talent immediately. He showed exceptional skill at a very early age, and everyone around him recognized that he was extraordinary. His principal would occasionally interrupt classes to allow him to perform in front of the entire school. Woodson competed in several talent shows, winning his first at the age of 7. This was the first of many such accolades. He attended Central High School where he graduated in 1968. After graduation, he entered the military. Woodson worked tirelessly to improve his craft. He studied vocal techniques, performed in local groups, and developed a commanding stage presence that would later become one of his trademarks. His voice stood out because it could do something that many singers struggle to achieve. It combined raw power with smooth control. He could deliver emotional ballads, hard-driving soul, and energetic funk with equal confidence. At the age of 19, Woodson met vocalist Frederick Knight. During his tenure with Knight, he drew the attention of Bill Pinkney from the Drifters. Bill promoted him to vocalist for the group shortly after he joined it. It was at this moment that he took on his father's surname and started performing under the name Ali-Ollie Woodson. During his tenure with the group, he developed a strong connection with Aretha Franklin. When he departed the Drifters in 1978, he joined the Blue Notes, where he went on to replace Teddy Pendergrass. He also contributed to their song, Disco Explosion. The next year, Woodson quit the group and relocated to New York. While in New York, he worked as a limousine driver, and he continued to improve his skills. In 1976, Dennis Edwards got fired from the Temptations, and Woodson went out to audition, but the position was given to Louis Price. Although he didn't get the spot, he did leave an everlasting impression as Otis Williams maintained a tight watch on Woodson. He finally got his calling when Dennis Edwards was dismissed from the group for the second time, and in 1983, Woodson officially became a Temptation. This was an enormous responsibility. Fans compared every new singer to legends like David Ruffin, Eddie Kendricks, and Dennis Edwards, but Woodson didn't try to imitate the past. Instead, he brought his own voice, personality, and his own style to the group. By the early 80s, the Temptations was already musical royalty. The group survived lineup changes, shifting musical trends, and the loss of several iconic members. But they needed a new lead singer who could help guide them into a modern era. When Woodson was asked to take over lead vocals for the Temptations, they partnered up with Earth, Wind & Fire guitarist Al McKay to produce that album Truly For You. The end product was the best Temptation record of the decade. It cemented Woodson's status alongside Edwards and David Ruffin as the finest lead singers in the Temptations' history. His gruff, expressive voice was the ideal counterpart to the Temptations' classically clean harmonies, and his ability to sensitively handle ballads provided the group the diversity that it lacked during the Edwards years. One of Woodson's defining moments came when they released the hit Treat Her Like a Lady. This song became a major success and introduced many younger listeners to the Temptations for the very first time. Woodson's lead vocals was confident, soulful, and unforgettable. The record proved something important. The Temptations, they wasn't just surviving. They was capable of producing hits and connecting with a contemporary audience. More notable songs that Woodson sang lead on was Lady Soul, and Soul to Soul. These songs helped introduce the Temptations to a new generation of listeners. Wilson's voice became central to this revival. His tenor had a dramatic quality that commanded attention immediately. He could soar over harmonies, deliver emotional intensity, and energize live audience with remarkable ease. His work on the next year's album To Be Continued was excellent, most notably the beautiful ballad Someone, which is arguably Wilson's best song as a Temptation. But mine will be here any day now. Woodson was more than a singer. He was a performer and a classic MOTOWN tradition. On stage, he moved with confidence and charisma. He understood how to work a crowd, how to build excitement, and how to make every performance feel special. Fans often describe his concerts as electrifying. Whether performing a 10-year ballad or a high-energy soul number, Woodson gave everything to the audience. That dedication helped strengthen the Temptations' reputation as one of the greatest live acts in music history. Oddly, in 1987, when Edwards returned to the group, he replaced Woodson on the album Together Again, but he left again a year later. Woodson then returned to the group for a few albums, as the group battled to develop a modern sound. But finally, in 1995, the Temptations produced For Lovers Only. This was an album that gave us versions of iconic pop songs that also reunited fans' interest in the group. Like many long-running groups, the Temptations experienced internal changes and challenges over the years. Woodson's relationship within the group included multiple departures and returns, a reflection of the complexity dynamics that often exist inside legendary musical organizations. Despite these challenges, his impact remains undeniable. Fans constantly praise his vocals, and many consider him as one of the strongest lead singers the group ever had. After his time with the group, Woodson continued performing and recording music. He remained deeply connected to soul and R&B traditions, and his reputation as a powerful vocalist endured. He also became known for his legendary generosity towards fans and fellow musicians. Those who worked with him often describe him as passionate, dedicated, and deeply committed to the music. During his time with the group, he worked closely with lifelong Temptation Otis Williams, who had become the guardian of the group's legacy. Williams recognized Woodson's talent and professionalism. Together, they helped maintain the group's commitment to excellence while navigating the challenges of the modern music industry. The partnership was important because the Temptations was no longer just a vocal group. They were a cultural institution with decades of history behind them. By 1996, Woodson had officially departed the Temptations, and as fans expected him to release a solo album, instead, he worked closely with varieties of projects including stage productions, backup vocals, and on soul and jazz recordings. Tours with other former Temptations, and a brief collaboration with 2 former Supreme members. Finally, he formed the Emperors of Soul, which was a touring group that covered the Temptations and other Motown songs. It would be 5 years for his departure from the Temptations before he got into the studio to record his debut solo album that was titled Right Here All Along. The album was strong and it earned high praise for most soul music critics. In 1997, he appeared on an episode of The Jamie Foxx Show, and this led to him acting in a few films after that. He also sang in the choir in the television show The Good News that ran from 1997 to 1998. When John Edwards fell to bad health that led him to leave the Spinners in 2002, Woodson was offered the lead vocalist role, but instead he recommended his friend Frank Washington. Woodson continued to tour with his group, the Emperors of Soul, and he appeared on national television as Aretha Franklin's powerful duet partner in the spring of 2003 on the PBS TV special Rhythm, Soul, and Love. Woodson would later join Dennis Edwards' Temptation Review group. In early 2009, reports circulated that Woodson was unwell, but by the spring of that year, he published his second album, Never Give Up. According to his testimony at a televised religious service, Woodson initially was diagnosed with throat cancer during his time with the Temptations. He needed to undergo surgery when the cancer reappeared 2 years later, and in late 2008, he was diagnosed with leukemia, where he spent several weeks in the hospital. Sadly, Woodson passed on May 30th, 2010 at the age of 58 after battling with leukemia for over 18 months. Ali-Ollie Woodson was much mourned by soul fans, yet his music lives on. Today, he is remembered as one of the greatest lead singers in the Temptations' history, a key figure in the 1980s group revival, an extraordinary live performer, and a vocalist whose emotional delivery touched millions of fans. His recordings continue to inspire listeners, and his performances remain celebrated by soul music fans all around the world. Some voices fade with time, while others become part of history, and Woodson, he belonged in that second category. He stepped into one of the most demanding roles in soul music, and he carried the weight of a legendary legacy, and he emerged as a star in his own right. Through passion, talent, and relentless dedication, he helped keep the Temptations' name alive for a new generation. Now, before we go, I have a question for you all. What is your favorite song from Ali-Ollie Woodson, or your favorite song from the Temptations that feature him? While I have y'all here, if you would like to support the channel further, then feel free to become a member. By doing so, you help make these videos possible. I thank each and every one of you who supported me along this journey.